Hello guys, and welcome back to this channel. Today I am sharing our top picks for alphabet and letter books that we use in our homeschool. We're at the preschool level and we are learning our letters of the alphabet in our phonics lessons, and we use these books during that lesson as well as during the morning basket time. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick review of each one of these. So the first one is called Big Thoughts for Little People, and we actually use this in our devotional time in our morning basket. And each letter of the alphabet here has a short paragraph related to a question about God and faith and living a good life. And there are some questions to ask your child, either personal questions to get them talking about the subject, or questions of things to look at in the pictures that accompany the letter. And there's lots of things in each picture that begins with the letter that we're focusing on. So this is a great sort of search and find book here. The next book we have is Roald Dahl's ABC, and this is just a very short A to Z book with sort of one word per letter, and gives some interesting introduction to the Roald Dahl books and some interesting words to go along with the letters that you won't find in other alphabet books, but it's got great illustrations by Quentin Blake. Another book here is the Peter Rabbit ABC, and I just love introducing my boys to works like Beatrix Potter and her lovely illustrations and characters that she came up with. So yeah, this is just a lovely A to Z, and it introduces some of the Tales of Peter Rabbit characters that you might be reading in other stories during your read aloud time. This book is a Waldorf alphabet book, and this is quite interesting because it only has the letter on one side. It has upper and lowercase, and then illustrations comprised of items beginning with that letter. So we just usually focus on one letter and pick out what we can find starting with that letter. And it does have a full list in the back of the book in case you have trouble identifying or naming some of the items. This is a Flower Fairy alphabet, and I just loved the Flower Fairy books. They were something I had growing up, and this has some interesting different botanical flowers and small poems based on each letter of the alphabet. So it's a good introduction to different types of natural things that your child might see out and about. This book is called Every Boy's Alphabet, and this is a lovely one for boys. They do a girl version as well, and this is just like a short, almost like a poem, with one line per letter of the alphabet, and it has some great illustrations. It's just lots of fun to read through this one together. And as you know, I've got two boys. The next one is the Finger Trowel ABC, and this is a more tactile book. It has some like fine motor skills, lines and areas you can trace your finger along the page to follow along. And it's got some great alliteration on the letters from the words on the page, as well as the full alphabet in the back. And this is all in lowercase, which is interesting. The next one is the Moomin alphabet, and we do love reading the Moomin picture books. So we have got the ABC book for the Moomins, and we like finding the characters that we recognise. And this has definitely some interesting words to introduce, but if you like the Moomin picture books, then I do recommend this book, and it's got a full list of quotes in the back by letter of the alphabet. This one is called Alphabet Under Construction, and it's a very short book, and it just has these mouses that are building the alphabet, and they're using methods based on the letter that they are working on, and it's just got very short word per page situation with some good illustrations. The next book is Once Upon an Alphabet by Oliver Jeffers, and this has a short story for each letter. So the stories are about 2 paragraphs long, and it's really interesting. They're usually quite funny or comedic or thought-provoking, and yeah, it's got great illustrations. We do have a few of his other books, and this one is just really interesting, a different take on an alphabet book. This one was gifted to us from our neighbour, and it's called A is for Africa. And this has each letter of the alphabet has something which discusses things from Africa. I think it's specifically Nigeria. And just different introductions to different themes from things that you would find in African tribe life. This one is the Letterland ABC, and this book has each letter lives in this place called Letterland, and it will tell you a bit about what they do in Letterland, and then there'll be an illustration where you can find different things beginning with that letter. So yeah, this is a fun one too, kind of like a seek and find picture book here, but for letters. The next one is another sort of finger trail one, and this has 2 options for each letter in terms of identifying an item, as well as the tactile area where you can trace the letter formation, and it's got a lift the flap feature, which obviously lots of children love. This one is called ABC See Hear Do, and they do different books in this series. They have, each letter teaches you a movement to make for your child. So you can try and make the letter sound using that movement, and then you can try and put together words and start to read words, basically. And it does go up in difficulty throughout the book, but it's a fun way to learn letter sounds. And this last one is Montessori letterwork, which has the actual sort of sandpaper style letter in the book, so you can trace your finger over those, and it introduces the actual letter sound rather than the actual letter names. So also it's not in alphabetical order, which is interesting with this one, but they introduced the letters in a slightly different way. So that is everything we have for alphabet letter books. Let me know if you have any other ones that I'm missing from my collection. I don't think I'm going to be getting any more, because we have sort of one per day, and we do a letter, one looking at just one letter, and then we have like an A to Z every day that we go through. But yeah, I've been interested to know what you've got in your collection, and I look forward to seeing you in the comments.